Hi soulmates, I welcome you all back to my YouTube channel. Today's video I'll be showing you guys how to sew this trendy bubu dress that you are seeing here right now. Today is your first time of coming across my channel. Please do to subscribe, like, comment and also share. And to my 10 subscribers, thank you all for supporting my channel. So let's dive right into the pattern drafting. So first, I'll go ahead and chalk down half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. So from that 8 inches, I'll chalk down the length of my sleeve. I want the length of my sleeve to be 10 inches, okay? So I'll chalk it down. From that 8 inches, I chalk down 10 inches, okay? So from that 10 inches, I came down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. And from the 1 inches, I came down by 10 inches for my sleeve opening, okay? From that 1 inches for my shoulder slope, I came down by 10 inches for my sleeve opening. So next, I'll go ahead and connect from my shoulder slope down to my sleeve opening, okay? So this is what I have right here. So next, I'll go ahead and chalk down my neck width. I'll be using 3.5 inches for my neck width. And for the neck depth, I'll be making use of 3 inches for both back and front, okay? This pattern is for both my back and my front. So after that, I'll go ahead and connect from my neck width to my shoulder slope. I'm so sorry it's not showing, okay? But I connected from my neck width down to my shoulder slope, okay? And this is what I have. So next, I'll go ahead and chalk down from my shoulder down to my waistline. My shoulder to my waistline is 17 inches. After that, I will like a straight line. This is my waistline. Next, I'll chalk down my shoulder to hip line. My shoulder to hip line is 27 inches. Then I'll go ahead and roll out a straight line. This is my hip line. So next, for my length, I'll be making use of 36 inches, okay? My whole pattern is 36 inches, so I'll go ahead and make use of my whole pattern, okay? So after that, I'll go ahead and divide my waist into 4, okay? My waist circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance and then 1 inch sewing allowance, okay? On my hip line, I'll divide my hip circumference into 4 and I'll chalk it down plus 1 inch seam allowance and then 1 inch sewing allowance. So whatever I have on my hip line, I'll go ahead and chalk it down on my full length, okay? I'll chalk it down. After that, I'll connect them together using my curve ruler from my waist down to my hip line, then down to my full length, okay? And this is what I have. So next, I'll go ahead and connect it to my sleeve, okay? To my sleeve opening, sorry. To my sleeve opening. This way. Slightly curve it to meet your waistline. And this is what I have, okay? Remember I came down by 10 inches from my shoulder slope. So from that 10 inches, I'll go ahead and curve it to meet my waistline. So this is what I have. After that, I'll go ahead and cut it out, okay? Just watch what I am doing. Cut out my shoulder slope, and this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and use this pattern to cut out both my front and my back material, okay? And I'll be adding 2 inches to the base for my sewing allowance, and to the upper part, that is my shoulder, I'll be adding 0.5 sewing allowance to it, okay? So after I was done cutting it out, this is what I have. I have both my front and my back fabric here, okay? I have both of them here. So next, I'll be minusing 2 inches from this side and I'll be replacing it back with a black fabric, sorry, with a black fabric. So I'll go ahead and remove 2 inches from my sleeve and I'll replace it back with a black fabric, okay? And this is what I have. So after I'm done doing that, next thing I'm doing here now is to open it up this way and I'll go ahead and place both of them together. Wrong side of my fabric facing the wrong side of my fabric, like wrong side facing wrong side. Okay, make sure you arrange it very well. And this is what I have, and this is the front. This part you are seeing right now is the front side of my fabric. Okay, so next, from this side of my neck width, there is this side, I'll go ahead and draw a straight line down to my full length. Okay, this is the part where I'll be placing my black fabric. Okay, down to my full length, a straight line. So this is what I have. So on this side also, I'll go ahead and draw a straight line. Make sure they are equal, arrange it very well. That is, from this side of my neck width, I'll also go ahead and draw a straight line down to my full length. Okay, and this is what I have. After I'm done doing that, next thing I'm doing here now, from the same side of my shoulder, that is from the same side of my neck width, I'll be going out by 3 inches. Okay, I'll go ahead and chop down 3 inches. Then from the midpoint, I'll come down by 1.5 inches. This is for the asymmetric neckline. Then I'll go ahead and connect them this way from here to meet my 3 inches. Okay, this is for the asymmetric neckline, and this is what I have. Can you see? So next, I'll go ahead and cut it out. So after I was done cutting it out, I noticed it was a bit high, so I want to bring it down a bit. Okay, so here I'll go ahead and recurve it. This is what I have. Okay, this is what I have. So after I was done curving it out, I'll measure from my shoulder to that point. That is, from my shoulder to that point, what I have is 5 inches. Okay, from my shoulder line to that point, what I have there is 5 inches. So this 5 inches, I'll be replacing it back with my black fabric. That is the one across my shoulder. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cut it out. And this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and explain what I did here. Okay, that part was not showing, so I want to explain it very well here. Okay, so now from this side of my neck width, that is from this point, I went out by 3 inches. This is the 3 inches. And from the midpoint of my neckline, that is from this point, I came down by 1.5 inches. Then I went ahead and connect the lines this way, connect them this way. Okay, this is what I have. So after I was done doing that, so this is the line. Okay, so after I was done doing that, I went ahead to measure from my shoulder down to that point. That is from this my shoulder down to this point. Okay, what I have here is 5 inches, and this 5 inches is what I'll be replacing my black fabric with. Okay, this is 5 inches. So after joining my shoulder with, remember I will join my shoulder with 0.5. Okay, I'll be joining my shoulder with 0.5. So what I'll be left with is 4.5 inches. Okay, this is my shoulder. I will join them together with 0.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and measure from that point to this point. What I have is 4.5 inches. Okay, so this is what I have. I'll be replacing this 4.5 inches with my black fabric. So I'll go ahead and take this particular part out. So this is what I have. I have two of my fabric here. Okay, so next I'll go ahead and cut out my facing. Okay, I'll be making use of a black fabric, and this is what I have. As you can see, I've ironed down the base, like the base of my facing, with 0.5 inches. Okay, this is my facing. So what I'll be doing here now is to place it under my fabric. Okay, right side of my facing facing the wrong side of my fabric, right side of my facing facing the wrong side of my fabric. Okay, this way. Just watch what I am doing. Then I'll go ahead and pin it down and sew. After that, I'll bring it out this way. Okay, and make sure you stop stitch on your facing. Right side facing the wrong side of your fabric. Then you bring it out this way. Top stitch on your facing. Okay, so let's go and do that, guys. So after I was done doing that, this is what I have, as you can see. Okay, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and bring it out this way. Make sure you top stitch on your facing. So this is what I have. So now make sure you iron it down. Then I'll go ahead and sew this part. Okay, I'll go ahead and sew the base, like the down part of my facing. So let's go and do that, guys. So after I was done sewing, this is what I have. As you can see, this is what I have. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut out the 2 inches that I took out from my sleeve. Remember, I took out 2 inches from my sleeve side. Okay, so now I've cut it out. This is what I have. So I'll go ahead and sew it down to my fabric. I have 4 pieces of it here. So I'll go ahead and place it this way. Then I'll sew it down. Okay, so let's go and do that. So after I was done sewing it down, this is what I have. Okay, can you see what I have over here? This is what I have. So now I'll go ahead and join the shoulders of my clothes together. Right side facing right side. This way. Right side facing right side. And I'll join the shoulders together. Okay. So let's go and do that, guys. So after I was done joining the shoulders together, this is what I have. So now I'll go ahead and keep it aside and cut out my pocket. Okay. So I'll bring in my fabric this way. And I'll go ahead and fold it this way. Okay, lengthwise I'll fold it. Just watch what I am doing. This is my starting line. Okay, so now from this point I'll come in by 5 inches, then I'll come down by 10 inches, then I'll go ahead and connect them this way. Okay, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So this is what I have. I'll go ahead and use this fabric to cut out another 3 of it. Okay, making it 4. So let's do that. So after I was done cutting it out, this is what I have. I have 4 pieces of it here. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and open up my fabric this way. I'll place it directly on my waist. Okay, this is my waistline. I'll place it this way and I'll go ahead and sew. Okay, this way, and I'll go ahead and sew. I'll also go ahead and place this particular side this way from my waistline down. Then I'll go ahead and sew. So after I was done attaching my pocket, like sewing my pocket to my fabric, this is what I have, as you can see. Okay, and I'm also gonna add to hem the base of my sleeve. And this is what I have. So now go ahead and cut that fabric that I'm using to cover up this line. That is a black fabric. So from my shoulder down to my full length, what I have here is 38 inches. Okay, 38 plus 38, I have 76. Now go ahead and add extra 2 inches to it. Okay, so let's go and do that. So right here I have length 78. Okay, what I have here is 78 and the width is 4 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna have to fold in 0.5 on both sides. So what I have left is 3 inches. Okay, and the length is 78 inches. So now I'll go ahead and use it and cover up that side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and open up my fabric this way. Just watch the way I'm doing it. I'll open it up this way. Then I'll place my black fabric on it. Okay, make sure you arrange it very well. Starting from the base of this side, I'll place it this way. Okay, then I'll go ahead and pin it down. Okay, so let's do that. Make sure your line is in between your black fabric. Okay, and pin very well. So this is it. So here on the shoulder, I'll be having a total of 9 inches. Okay, this is my 9 inches. Then I'll continue my pinning. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so after I'm done pinning it down, this is what I have. So now I'll go ahead and sew the edges. Okay, the two edges, I'll go ahead and sew it down. So guys, after I was done sewing it down, this is what I have. As you can see, this is what I have. This is what I have. So make sure you give it a good press. So now I'll go ahead and join the sides together. Okay, right side facing right side this way. From my sleeve, I'll join it down to my full length. Okay, I'll join it this way down to my full length. Okay, I'll also go ahead and join this side this way. Okay, to my full length. So let's go and do that. So guys, after I was done joining it down, this is what I have, and this is my pocket, as you can see. Okay, this is what I have. Looking so neat. And this is the back side. Okay, so next I'll go ahead and sew this down part. Okay, and after I'm done doing that, I'll give it a good press. Like, make sure you give it a good press. Okay, and that is all for today's tutorial. Thank you all for watching. See you all in my next class. Bye.